What's up everyone, welcome to Tech Me Out. So for all of you wondering what wallpaper I have installed, what's my layout on my phone, what tweaks am I using to get my phone to look and behave in the way that it is, I'm happy to answer all of those questions in this video with the start of my new series called The Perfect Setup. So in this particular video, we're going to be going over what I like to coin as the minimal and small theme. And as I'm showing you this, you'll probably begin to understand why I like to call it that. Let me know your thoughts on this series and things that I might be able to do to improve it. Now back to theming your phone. To kick things off, I'm going to show you my boot logo because I do have a custom one installed. It's done with the boot logo pack and it's the Breaking Bad animation. Now that sound you just heard was done with a boot sound and it's the Ubuntu or Ubuntu sound effect. So I won't be showing you in-depth details of everything that I adjusted in these tweaks to get my phone to look the way it did. I will touch on it a little bit. Now looking at my lock screen, this clock here at the top is a lot smaller than it normally should be, and that was done with the SubtleLock. You'll also notice that my status bar is much lighter than it normally is, and that was done with a tweak called LockSmoother Plus. It allows you to dull your status bar and a couple of other things in relation to your status bar. And sliding over here and going to my passcode lock screen, you'll see that it has more of a clean feel, and that's because I use something called SleekCode to change how this looks by removing the circles behind the numbers and things like that. Now with Springtomize 3, I was able to adjust my lock animation. So if I lock my phone, you'll notice it kind of has an old TV type of animation in terms of what it does when I lock it. So I thought that was pretty cool. My lock screen also does not dim as quick, and that was done with Lockscreen Extender. I set it on a minute so that instead of it dimming after a couple of seconds, it only dims after a minute instead. You'll probably notice that my phone is bare. I don't currently have a case on it, nor a screen protector. I typically do at least have a glass screen protector, but for the past couple of weeks, I haven't been rocking one. And I occasionally switch in and out of two cases, which I'll be doing a review on soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. But for the most part, I do go without a case. Now, as for the wallpaper, like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be down below. So definitely check out the link if you want that. And I think that really sums it up for my lock screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock my phone. And as you can see here, the minimal and small setup. Everything is pretty much tiny. The text, the icons, all of that is as small as I can see. And looking at my status bar, certain things are removed, and that was done with Protean, such as my cellular signal strength, as well as the battery logo and all of that. Protean will allow you to rearrange the icons or what's shown up here in your status bar so you can move your clock to the left or the right and so forth and so on like that. You can also adjust your clock so that not only does the clock show in the center, but the clock and the date shows, such as mine. I even changed the way my battery percentage is shown, so it's not numerical anymore. It's written out and you no longer see the battery logo. Now the way I have changed mine is so that it's green when it's charging and it's just white when it's not charging, so that I can visually see that my phone's charging when it's plugged in, being that I no longer would have that little battery logo to go by. Now for the theme on my home screen, this is one that I really love. It's called Ayeris, I believe is how you pronounce it. I like it because it kept everything simple and it pretty much themed every icon. And when I say it kept everything simple, I mean that it changed my icons, but not drastically changed my icons. Some of these themes out there, they change it to the point that I can't even distinguish what icon it is without clicking on it. But with this particular one, it alters the look of your icons, but not to the point that you can't figure it out without clicking on it or tapping on it. I also use Springtomize 3 to remove the icon labels and also to remove the folder labels. Springtomize 3 also allowed me to adjust the size of my icons to 75%, so they're much smaller, which in my eyes gives it more of an iPhone 6 Plus feel on an iPhone 6. This little clock up here in the center, that was done with iWidgets, and I installed a theme called Stripe to give me the clock and the weather there. Something else that I changed about my home screen was the way that my folders looked. That was done with Folder Enhancer, and I used the 1x1 layout so that I could have whatever icon was listed first in the folder as the icon for the folder. Now, for those of you that are like me that sometimes don't even want a folder taking up space on your home screen, you can install Apex 2 to do something that I like to call hiding apps behind other apps, so that when you swipe over a particular app, it then reveals the application beneath it. So as you can see here, if I swipe on this particular application, it reveals another application so that you don't have to create folders. You can just use Apex 2 and use swipe gestures to show other apps you have installed on your phone. My badges look a little bit different as well. That was done with BlurryBadges. BlurryBadges will match the badge color to the app color. So pretty much this is the only application I currently have on my phone that has a badge. So that's the only one I can really demonstrate, but it looks really good. Now, if you notice that my on and off knobs are a different color, that was done with Tintch. It allows you to change the color of that to whatever you want it to be. And in my case, I wanted mine's light blue, so I used that to do so. For those of you that are like me that have a ton of tweaks and apps installed, to clean up your settings, a tweak that I use is Preference Organizer 2. So with this particular tweak, it lets me group things in reference to what type of thing it is. So I have Apple apps all grouped together, tweaks all grouped together, and App Store apps all grouped together. And the nice thing about it is I didn't do it. I just installed Preference Organizer 2 and it did it for me. So not only can you clean up your settings, but you can clean it up quickly. My keyboard also looks different, and that was done with a particular file that I downloaded from the internet. I can't recall the name of it off the top of my head right now, but that will be down below as well. I also changed the appearance of my control center. So I got rid of the little circles that are typically there to adjust things, and that was done with Grabless. I also used something called Flip Control Center to give me custom icons here so that I can do things such as respring or adjust other applications by turning them on and off, all from within my control center. And that was done with Flip Control Center. I resized everything with CC Scale, and I resized it down to the smallest that it could go down to. And I used CC Clean to remove the words AirDrop and AirPlay beside the icons there. I also used a theme to change the appearance of the icons for the play, pause, and fast forward and rewind icons. My volume HUD is also themed so that when I adjust my volume, instead of it being a little square in the center, it's now at the top. And that was done with HUD Customizer. You'll also notice that as I turn the volume up, it's not all green. It goes from green to orange to red to signify visually that it's exceptionally loud at that point. With Little Brother, I was not only able to make my font that much more smaller, but I was also able to rotate my device sideways in landscape mode so that it works like a 6 Plus on a 6. And other than that, that is really all I can think of that I have done to theme my phone. But if you happen to notice something on my phone that was different that I did not touch on, drop down below in the comment section what you noticed, and I'll do my best to answer what I did to get it. Some things I have forgotten over time, but for the most part, I remember the things that I shared with you today. So hopefully all of you enjoyed this video. If you did, you already know what to do. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts about this new series down below. And as always, thanks for taking the time out to let me tech you out.